I just wanted to kind of explore, kind of like I just wanted to kind of explore kind of where does creatives fit in the Bible, or just kind of as Christians and creatives, how does that fit in our daily lives and things like that. A little bit of stuff that we've already discussed, but just more focused on that, I guess, in a sense. And then when I think about it, I think about like, the creation of existence, that whole week. And when we create that kinship between, between God and the creator, when we do create, or we're in our creative mind or in our creative spaces, you kind of feel that kinship with God when he was creating the existence, taking something that was internal and making it real for the outside world.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. We are recording, by the way. So I yeah. So I caught all that.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't even know it was recording. My bad.
If you want me to repeat that, it ain't gonna come out that
right.
pretty.
Right. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. It's interesting. There's a guy I follow. He's a graphic designer. It's the Asian dude. He always has a hat on. Something Chris Do, D-O, something like that. Mm-hmm. But he always has a hat on that said God is a designer.
Okay.
And so in the same way. And so when I think about that, right? Like, in the beginning, God created, right? And all that stuff. There I do know, and I think we've talked about it before, there were people who were responsible for creating the temple. Mm-hmm. So that's unique.
Architects and things like that.
Yeah. It's not surprising when God is a creator that you hear language like we are his workmanship, we are his masterpiece. You are created to do good. You hear that. So if we really expanded on that word, creative, it's not just a medium that we work in, but it's really I don't want to say a way of life, but it's broader, right? Mm-hmm. For lack of a better word, I just don't like use the phrase way of life. It's just a broader thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, there's so much that we can look at, because of course it doesn't say anything in the Bible about being a rapper, but at the same time, there's different things that we can take from his example.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to go with, we're creating his likeness, his image, things like that. Even when we talk about how we emulate him in our creativity, we have to look at it with everything that he created, it was intentional. So when we create, we should be intentional. Mm-hmm. Because even down to the way that our bodies are made, it's crazy, the different things that the body can do, even to the point to where you can donate a kidney to somebody. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. My kidney can go to you if it's a need. Yeah,
and it just works.
Right.
Somehow.
It's not like we got to try to manufacture a fake kidney to make sure that you're going to be good. So, with the different things that God does, it's remarkable that he's able to be so intentional with certain things that we have everything that we need, essentially. Even the way our brains work, the way they develop, how they develop at certain ages, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So E, what would you say is what would you say is one, when you look at this question, what's one pain point?
What's a pain point?
You're asking what that is? A frustration.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For me, it's the struggle with perfectionism, being perfectionist. I don't know if perfectionism is a word, but being a perfectionist, I wrestle with it a lot mightily, and it gets in the way of my creative process, which if something doesn't come out right, or as I'm in the process of creating something, I have the end goal in mind, but if it doesn't look like it's going to go that way, I then become frustrated. Imposter syndrome creeps in. And it just leads to a whole bunch of things, and it eventually leads to me not creating or stopping the process or whatever. So that's I call it the thorn, is basically the struggle with being a perfectionist. The next is when it is done and then you have to release it to the world, is being vulnerable, because, when I create, or when all my pieces come from some story I'm telling, maybe my own or someone else's, I'm sharing something special and I'm letting the world in.
Yeah.
So of course, like, you're conscious of, is this going to go over well on social media? Are people going to get it? Are people going to treat this thing that I have put my time and sweat and love into, are they going to treat it well? And so, those are the two that I wrestle with constantly when I'm creating, and then when it's done, which then leads to me not posting, because I have so much content in my phone right now of pieces and things like that. But I'm just like, this is a part of me, like, and I'm sharing it and I'm expressing it to the world. And I just didn't trust the audience to release it. So that's kind of my gripes or my thorns when I deal with the creative process.
Yeah. There's a concept in coaching that gets talked about. It's and really, I mean, it's coaching. You probably heard it in counseling, but it's the idea of future predicting as a negative mindset. I don't know what you would call it in counseling world, but right, like, so like when we hear those phrases like, oh, people are going to receive it, like, oh, you can predict the future, like we made, like, I usually make a joke out of it, like calling it right out, like, oh, you can predict the future, oh, you know what they're going to say, oh, that's cool, like that's cool, awesome.
Let me know.
Like, yeah, like, what's the lottery number tonight? Like, I need, but it's just like a real, like, hey, like, I'm hearing you say like these negative thoughts, like, and I mean, and that goes with anything, right? It's like deep hurt with counseling, or just simple things to be pushed to just hashtag, just put it out, man.
You're right. You're right. We keep going back to it, and you're right. And the crazy thing through all that madness, I hear you. Put it out. Put it out. I hear my brother like, put it out. Yep. I'll be like, and I'll like get the gumption. And the crazy thing about it is, I'll go to bed at night and be like, tomorrow I'm gonna put it out. Right. Y'all ain't seen me posting like, whoa, since we did the BLM mural, I haven't posted since then. That was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So yeah.
See, the best is just to post it. Like, there's two places I post. I post on the toilet. Like, so if you ever see me do one of those random like TikTok games, I'm usually like on the toilet.
Because you don't give it.
Because I don't care. So I post it there. And then the other time, like I'm posting it right before I go to bed, so I can just wake up to see it. And then I don't gotta worry about it. I'm just like, let me just post it, see what happens. And then
I typically do that. Like, I'll wait to like when I had a job, I would, get the gum, post it and then drive to work.
Yeah.
And or like be at work and be busy, so I don't have to see.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is everything that you fear, or like for me, I've the anticipatory anxiety. Shout out Mr. Holly for giving me that term. We like basically said, like, you're just in a constant of predicting the future, kind of like on the orange guy on Inside Out too. And you're just kind of thinking, and whatever you're into, the negative things that you're anticipating never comes to fruition. Yeah. And it's received well, every time.
Because if they don't receive it well,
I would never have been a professional artist.
We coming.
Yeah.
We got you.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it's the same for y'all. Like, I'll be looking for smoke all the time.
Yeah. And I think too, though, like, that even can relate to God, right? Because like, in order for us to be created in his likeness and his image, that means he had to put qualities of himself in us, be vulnerable enough to give it to us, and hope that we don't pervert it.
See, this is why we gotta have that the royal preach off.
Preach off Royale.
Yeah.
Preach off Royale.
Preach off Royale. Because what he just said just put a fire in my heart. And I'm like, how did you get I'm about to just get up and just go home and be in my study.
You're going to be writing all day.
And right.
Come back with a sermon to the next one.
But that was really good, though.
Yeah, we need some shirts made.
I'm on it.
But I just think about that, like how vulnerable God had to be to give us like even just a sample of his intellect, his heart, and things like that, and be like, and I hope they don't pervert it. Yeah. I know that some of them will because I'm all knowing. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. He but like I feel like, and this is me probably just applying human context to him. Just like I think about it as a father, like, and I'm not a father yet, but just like for y'all, even y'all can answer this from y'all's perspective, how it feels to know that your kids have certain qualities that you have, and you have to hope that they use it for good, like whether it be like stubbornness or creativeness or anything like that, like the different qualities that are placed inside of them that come from you to where, you know, you're trying to foster it and nurture it so it's used in the right way.
For sure.
Yeah.
I got the perfect story for that. Where did they go? The kids went somewhere. It was a field trip. And we had a little bit extra money. And I was like, you know what, kids? I want y'all to have a good time. Here's $20 each. Go into the place.
Oh, yeah.
So you knew that $20. And when I gave it to them, I'm like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that. And they're like, oh, we're gonna do this instead. We're gonna do that. I'm like, no, don't blow your money on that. And like halfway through the day, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I gave them that money to have fun.
Yeah.
Not to be crotchety and think, oh, it's got to be spent the way my dad. No, take the money and have fun. So it took me a whole like literally a half day just be like, no, I'm not even with that. Yeah, I'm just I'm by myself. Like, but I was stressing about it. Oh, what if they like Jude? I think he bought a Game Pass for a friend of his so that they could play the same game. And I'm like that's a good guy right there. And then of course they brought home tons of candy and these little stupid sucker things. I'm just like, oh gosh. But whatever. It was their money to do. But we do the same. We'll do the same thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And
sure.
Like if parents give us money or whatever, we're like, oh yeah, I know I'm going to spend it.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, they better spend it the right way. But
yeah. But then that goes back to the creativity because when we share it, we gave it to them to listen to look at, to listen to, or whether in a podcast form, or things like that. And it's as long as they do that purpose, then it's fine because their reactions, that's just the extra stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
We just put it out to be received.
Yeah.
And we should just be glad that it was received rather than whether they liked it or not.
Yeah. And that was the other side too. I just thought of the other thing I worried about because they're kids with money. I'm like, look, I don't trust y'all's pockets. Here's an envelope.
Yeah.
And take it. And of course they had a blast and they did all the fun stuff they wanted to. But that idea, I don't even remember the original point, but being able to, I don't know, what was the original point?
Just talking about just how in our relationship with God, how he gave us the ability to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gives, when you think about it, it gives new meaning to being, not new meaning, but a refreshed meaning to being a good steward.
Yeah.
The stuff you get. Right? All right. I take everything back I said about the stewarding influence.
Yeah.
What else? What else is out there about kinship and frustrations? And
I think for me, if I had a frustration, I think it would be one, how does God want me to use this creativity? Because for some of us, I think you talked about it before when you're talking about when you're good at multiple things, what should be the one that I focus on the most, or which one is a priority? When it comes to different things, God, you gave me the ability to be able to study your word and be able to convey it to the people creatively.
Yeah.
You gave me the ability to sing and play piano and rap and all these different things. But I think trying to find that balance between all of them, that's hard because especially when all three are dedicated towards him in a sense. Like, it's like, all right, so how do I like balance it all?
Yeah.
And trying to find that direction for like in season, out of season, things like that. Cause even I thought it was very interesting when like Jackie Hill Perry came back to rapping. She was like, it's only for a season. This ain't about to be like what I do for a long extended time. Y'all just enjoy what you got right now. And so, you know, that could be just an album, but you know, how do we wrestle with like, because to some degree she has to love rapping to continue to try to be better at it. So when God tell you like, you got these 2 albums, then you're going to sit down and just do this, like, how do you balance that? How do you find like harmony in that if it's something that you love and desire? Yeah. And I know like it all goes back to obedience, but like at the same time, it don't make it any easier. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my pain point is, and we've talked about this before on a previous episode. But my pain point is letting other people struggle and not being Captain Save a Bro.
I thought he was about to say it.
Yeah.
And I mean it happened just this past week. We had a big fundraiser for work, and our one coworker Deja, she was like, she came up with these ideas to get buttons made. This is like, oh, I'm this person asked me about my goals. I'm this person asked me like what it's like. And so she sent the design, and I was going to be like, oh, can you change this, this, and this, and make this and move this? And I was like, no, you know what? It's good. I like it. Print it. and we sent it off, and the buttons came out. The buttons came out great, and they were made. They were cool. I liked it. And I was asked about it. I was like, I like them. And I'm just like, I'm leaving it at that. It's good, right?
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No, I'm not looking for perfect. It's good. I like
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that, and then there was another, they were trying to hang up the banner, which the banner that we got, it's a pain in the butt. If you want to look, if you're listening to this, you want to donate a banner stand, because ours is just old and just decrepit. I hate it. But I'm always getting called like, hey, how do you set this up? And
okay.
And so they're asking me, and I'm working on other stuff that takes priority. And I'm like, no, figure it out, struggle with it. I'm not here.
Yeah.
And so you have to struggle with something to learn, because I had to struggle to learn. And so I'm not saying life should be a struggle. I'm saying the task itself should be the struggle.
Yeah.
That's where the struggle should be.
Yeah.
And it's weird to hear this, go off a tangent. It's weird to hear parents say, oh, my parents let me struggle, so I'm like, that's a different kind of struggle. I'm like, no. Like, you really should bless your kids in a way that they don't have to struggle. But when it comes to doing tasks like paying bills, like, figure it out. Like, learn how to do that thing.
Yeah.
And struggle in that sense, but not like, oh, I'm gonna make you struggle so you learn your lesson. Like, no.
Don't be a Hannah.
Yeah.
That's for my Love Is Blind folks.
Oh, okay.
The fact that I know what you're talking about is making me mad.
There's this chick on Love Is Blind, and she this is for all the homies and homies.
Do I need to call Kristen down?
She watch it?
She's a Love Is Blind expert.
See, yeah, she had my back on this one. See, there's a chick on there named Hannah. She basically, at 18, she moved out, and then the guy that she was supposed to be marrying, he like played football, things like that, came home to do real estate.
Oh wait, is this the guy that
Nick Dorka?
Is this the guy that the dad died or something, and he's like, I'm gonna take care of your daughter?
Oh no,
he dies, and then she is like, we're not making it.
Nah, this ain't him.
Okay.
Yo, what?
Yeah, people be wilding.
Are you not caught up?
I don't watch Love.
He only know bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I only know bits and pieces, but that was like the most recent. And Kristen was like, babe, this guy, he told his dying father that he was going to love his daughter till the end of time.
Wasn't that dude?
That was Tim, I think.
Yeah. He was like, we'll never see each other. Like, thank you for agreeing we'll never see each other again.
It was something about you didn't do dishes.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah,
that's your boy.
He cooks for her family, and
Yeah.
yeah, she ain't help with the dishes. He was mad. But Hannah, because she had to struggle at 18, she felt like Nick was baby. So she like would do all these different things, and she'd be on there like, Nick, you need to take the trash out, Nick. You see that it's full. Why you ain't take the trash out, Nick? And like all those different things. She wanted him to like struggle. So because she felt like he needed to learn lessons, she learned because she got out of the house at 18.
Shameful.
Yeah, but it's just wild. But he got to play in the CFL and XFL and all that stuff. And so it's just wild.
He's receiving all the blessings.
But yeah, we don't want to see people, just struggle for the sake of struggling.
Yeah.
But there are lessons that we learn in struggling. I just taught on James 1 last night when we were talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you were teaching Bible study. Mm-hmm. What was it? James 1 what?
I went through all the way up. Well, I did a whole thing.
Okay. All right, look at you, big dog.
It was just no, it's not. I ain't gonna go through the whole thing, but just talking about when it says be doers of the word, just like what was the context of it. And I was asking a question to our Bible study group of why would he tell them to be doers in times of trial? Like, that's not what you want to hear. When if I'm struggling, because they were going through famine and all those different things and then he says to the 12 tribes that are scattered. So the Israelites, they were all scattered throughout. They weren't in a central place. And one of the pieces of advice he gave to them in the midst of trials is to be doers of the word and not hearers only.
Okay.
And so just looking at it from that context, but there was a lot of different things that he talked about in there. And, he talked about how trials produce patience, and that patience does the perfect work within us to make us perfect and complete.
Yeah. Doc Evans preached on that once, and I'll never forget because it was really like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But essentially he was like, when a man looks in the mirror, it's to shave.
Yeah.
And he's out. Like, that's the last time he looks in the mirror. And he was just going on. And he's like, a woman she'll look in the mirror, she'll be tore up and all that stuff. And then she'll go to the vanity with the lights and everything to make sure that she looks right. And then she'll go down and she'll hit the side mirror. And then she'll go down to just before leave, and she'll hit the full length mirror and all that. And then they'll check the mirror in the rearview mirror, or not the review, but the thing.
Yeah.
And then she even carries a mirror in her pocket, like in her purse. And just kind of like that explanation was like, oh,
yeah, that's good.
I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, Doc Evans, he was cold with that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I got that book somewhere around here. I think it's over there. The illustration book.
Yeah, I want to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's your birthday? Oh, I know. September 3rd. 9/3. Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
And July
13th.
Oh, I was gonna say 5th.
Yeah, you good.
Also, we should take this time to say
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm gonna mute y'all. Yeah, so we celebrated birthday. I had a drink, went to sleep at 9:30. It was great.
There we go.
Played Uno with the family.
Yeah.
Asked for a trash can for my birthday.
I was proudly fast for the trash can.
Yeah.
So
That was a very adult ask.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
I'm starting to enjoy the more adult things in life.
Yeah.
it's live.
Yeah.
Christmas, I'll be asking for my mortgage to be paid.
Hey,
Facts.
ask not, you have not.
Right?
Facts.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. Where have y'all had successes and wins in that kinship creator idea?
I think I was able to create more freely when I realized that God had finessed me into being a CHH rapper.
You say,
So I told you, I went back and I can't even blame him for real. But like, cause when I create and everything, I do like to be in tune with God and all of that. Like there's times where, I'll pray before I create. And then next thing I know, I have a verse and I'll be hyped about it. Like I'm giving bars and everything. And then I'll go back and listen to I went back and listened to, I think it was Growing Pains, which is one of my oldest albums. And I was listening. I'm like, did I say something about God? What was that? And so it's just wild hearing that. But I think coming to the realization of like just letting him fully be into my creativity, I think is where like I learned to have freedom. And even now, like when you were talking about just put it out, like I think now I'm at a place to where I can just put it out because I'm more so starting to create for an audience of one. Not that I don't care about the people that like my music, but like as long as like God is pleased with what I'm doing in my music, I'm cool. I can put it out because at the end of the day, that's my Grammy. Like, you know, I always think about like Andy Mineo when he was like, "Them my trophies when people in pain quote me." I always thinking about that. And so if I can do that, then I'm Gucci. I'm good. But I think just inviting God fully into that process and being okay with like wherever he leads me in it. Like, you know, I say it all the time and I don't say it from like a passive standpoint, but you know, I ain't got to be the next J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar or nothing like that because I'm gonna go wherever like God wants me to go, and wherever he want me to go, I'm gonna make sure I'm the dopest rapper in there. But like at the same time, if I never reach that status in the world's eyes, that's fine. Because I'm satisfied with going wherever he says go. But we always gonna be competitive.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kind of the same for me, but a little to the left. I think for me, it was falling in love with being uncomfortable in the creative process. Typically, like, you know, I'm all self-taught in everything that I do. So, like, before I go out and really execute a project, if I don't know or I don't know how to execute it, I'll go to YouTube or whatever or practice however long. So, like, when I was learning how to do Procreate or digital work, I practiced for however long on so many pieces until I felt comfortable advertising or posting and showing that stuff. But when I allowed God into my creative process, I just kept hearing, just do it. If I've given you the vision, then I've given you everything you ever needed to execute the vision. Yeah. You just got to trust me to do it. The closest thing I can get to is when I did the BLM mural, Black Lives Matter mural this past month. And it was very new for me because it was, you know, in the years past, I've just worked on teams. This was like, I am the team captain and I got to get this and execute this vision. So I started sketching on notepads and now it's right there in City Hall. And so when I was executing the mural, it was a lot of internal struggle of this don't look right. You know, the whole world's going to see this. People are asking questions, you know, or people walk by and see it like, and you're like, yo, like, do they like it? Like, or, you know, I just learned more to just trust God that like, if I'm out here, kind of like with Peter stepping out of the boat, if I'm out here, I just got to focus on what's more important and just get it done and take it step by step. And about time I finished it, I just felt like I reached a new level with God because I felt like I stressed about this thing for weeks, not being prepared or just, you know, everything go wrong, you know, my anticipatory anxiety. And when I looked at the finished product and when they unveiled it, I just saw like this is what happens when you give your all to God or you're authentic to God and just see what you can do through him. And so it encouraged me more to just step out there and just fail. And I know me and Iva talked about this the other day and was like, you got to be okay to fall. You got to. The Weeknd has a song called The Fall. And he says that I'm not as scared of the fall. I felt the ground before, which has been like kind of like my little motto when I do fail or I do like mess up. Like I'm not scared to mess up now because I've hit the rock bottom or I've smacked my head on something before. Now I can just do this confidently. So yeah.
Ball up top.
Ball up top.
Ball up top.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
What about you?
So I'm thinking we may be revisiting this book idea. We had when we did our coaching program, I created a book because it helps me to be able to write stuff down, and it was okay. It didn't fit the scenario that we had made, or the situation that we had created. And so we kind of just abandoned it. But now as we're shifting, like this is a perfect place to bring it back and be able to make it. And so, I'll be excited for it because it'll be made in a way where, this is for work, for context. It'll be, I want to make it in a way that it can be sold like independently. And done like that. And so now we're just gonna have to go through the process of what's it like to make the books themselves. And so I'm really, really excited for that to be able to bring that back. So I think it's really beneficial as we keep gravitating towards these ideas of journal prompts and repeating. And I'm seeing that there are lots of people who are using books to bring about, not books, but like workbooks to bring about creativity.
Yeah.
What was that?
I almost knocked this over.
Yeah.
I put my phone.
I saw his face. He looked like he was terrified.
Yeah.
I was about to get my oil out.
Yeah.
Nah, I like that though.
Yeah.
And like doing books, like that's like such a process because it's not easy to just formulate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was my whole journaling process was, it was a journey. If I don't know if you're listening to this, if you're like me, like I wanted to use an iPad, right? Like, cause you can literally put anything on it and use it to write. But I wasn't using my iPad and I didn't know why. And so, but I had journals before and I would put them in my bag and then it was like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. People often say that's like part of ADD or ADHD. I don't know, maybe. But it was like out of sight, out of mind. So what I did, I had to get a clipboard. And so I just had a clipboard and I would print out the sheets and I'd put that. And I was very intentional to leave it like on my desk so that when I walk by my desk, oh, I see it. I need to work on it. And so I did that. And then it was from there, I got a clipfolio, and then it was from the clipfolio that I got my journal, and it'll be my journal that I'll be finishing up next week. I'll be back to the iPad.
Hey.
So it's like things like that. Like it's a journey. Like you got to journey through to figure out. And so people have asked me like before, like how do you get so consistent with writing through a journal? I'm like, well, let me tell you a little story.
Yeah.
And I had to do all this stuff to really get to that place to be able to use the journal. So,
That's good.
Yeah, that is
I like that. I need to borrow that.
for sure.
yeah.
Because I'm trash at journaling,
Same.
and I need to.
Yeah. Because I even want to just journal like for productivity. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just finding a good prompt. I mean, we're way off top. That's okay.
Yeah. It's still relevant.
They're gonna ride with us.
It's relevant.
Yeah.
There's so many good people. There's a dude on Twitter, formerly known as X, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Dickie Bush. He has prompts for like everything.
He gonna change that name. You gotta prepare me for that.
I think I could be totally wrong. It
My
might
bad,
not
Mr.
be
Bush.
Dickie.
I ain't gonna make
I
that.
could be wrong. It might not be Dickie Bush, but I think it is Dickie.
That's funny. That's wild. Yeah.
It is Dickie.
That sounds like one of the Walmart pranks.
Yeah. Yep. Dickie Bush, man.
Yeah.
It happens. But yeah, no, he's got some great prompts. Like his niche is I think writing or ghost writing, something like that. Where he has just like prompts for like end of day, end of week, end of month, end of year, you name it. He's got like prompts for it. And
That's fire.
And just really, really to do it.
Yeah.
And then there was another one I found that I really enjoyed. I don't know who did it, but it was it was just called the 5-minute journal.
Excuse me.
And it was just like, it's like the first two questions, like, what are you happy for? Like, what are you grateful for? What are you challenged by? What's one thing you want to complete? And then like, just give me 30 seconds, like a breakdown. What's your day look like? And just write it all out. And then it asks the most important question. I hate living next to a hospital. I really do. I really do. I mean, I love this house, but
Yeah.
it's just ambulances up
All
and
the
down
time,
street.
yeah.
All the time. Like, but the most important question that I don't think we ask enough is what time are you going to stop working?
Whew. See, that's hard because these days, like,
See, exactly. That.
I'm working at random times.
Yeah.
I don't mean random in the sense of like I didn't plan on it, but some days I don't plan on it. But it's like if I got all this stuff to do, then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna work on it like at 9 o'clock at night. And sometimes like the creativity be getting so good that you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
Cause you be like, I don't know when I'm gonna get this much time again.
Yeah, that's true.
Cause I'll be in the zone. Like it was one night I made like 6 beats in a row and they all was hitting. And so I was like, I gotta stay right here till it run out.
You're in the pocket.
Yeah.
You're in the pocket.
And so that's hard. But I think like I was doing good at first. I'll admit the last 2 weeks I've been doing trash at it. But my cutoff was like at 10 o'clock at night. I gotta go to bed. Yeah. But these last 2 weeks I ain't been doing that. I've been up to like midnight. But I think
Call of Duty or working?
not even that.
Man.
Working partly because I like been trying to get this song ready to put out. And then like being back in that like grind of things to like where I'm like, all right, I'm working on music to put it out, all these different things. Of course, you know, you wrestle with that like whole thought process of what we were talking about earlier of just putting it out. And so there was certain things that I was trying to do. And then I just like ended up having to scratch like the new stuff that I was trying to do to it. Just went back to the old, made some minor adjustments. It was like, I'm gonna put it out.
Yeah.
And so just going through that process, that was mainly what I was doing. But I had to sacrifice those 2 hours that I normally would be asleep in order to do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm out here Red Bull grinding. So
Yeah. But that's it's a hard thing to stop. It is hard to stop working. Cause you can just, it's one little thing. And, what I love that I've actually done is I've taken email off my phone. So like, cause it becomes a distraction. And so when I'm working, like something like it'll ping and I'll look at it like, I can delete these emails real quick. And then so I just taking it completely off my phone.
yeah.
So the only time that I'm checking email is like when I'm sitting at a computer, like the MacBook or the one downstairs.
That's smart.
And it's been so helpful. So, but yeah.
I think it's setting them boundaries, man.
Yeah,
That's big.
it's tough to do. I think for me, like you said, once I'm in the zone, it's tough. Like once both headphones are on,
Yeah.
you just go ahead and forget about me. Like I'm lost. You know, and that was a tough balance, especially when I started to date, and then when we got married. Shout out to B, who has always been supportive of my passion, that has turned to my profession. But that was a struggle when we first started to date. You know, she would come in when I was working on the Afro Samurai in your house.
Yeah.
She was right next to me.
Oh, that's fire.
when I was doing it, and it was supposed to be a date night. Like, you know, come over, watch Breaking Bad, and we'll just chill. And I was just like, well, you mind if I draw? And she was like, no, yeah, cool. And so, you know, I'm drawing or whatever, and I forget she's in the room, and I'm just going in, and I spent hours on this thing. And then, like, you know, at first it was cute, it was cool, and then as we got more, and we started to live together and things like that, we had a 2-bedroom apartment, and that other bedroom was like the office in a sense. And so, like, I would come home from work, and I'll, you know, hey, how you doing? You had a good day? Cool. I'm in the other room, and I would just be in there for hours. And then like we had like kind of like a different schedule. So she'll work from like 8 to 4. I was 11 to 7. So like about time I'm like decompressed and I've gotten my creative process out, she's in bed. So I've missed her by hours.
Yeah.
So then I had to learn to do it with her. So like I would take my stuff out, or I'll work on minor stuff, and I would like have my headphones out, and I would have like one ear off so I can hear and still engage in conversation. And then when we bought our house, I put my art desk in the living room, as y'all can see it. And so like guests have come over, people see, and I would still work, and they could kind of see what I was doing. And I kind of basically stopped closing off that space and just opened it up and allowed people to kind of come in and see. So like even in our house now, as soon as you walk in, you'll see our office, and you'll see you can go in and kind of see that. But it was a tough thing to balance because I love my wife and I love my process. And so it was tough to create those boundaries, to just, be in the moment with her, and then also be in the moment with the process. So then I had to start putting time limits on it. And I felt like I was shortening or cheapening the process, because I'd be like, I could spend about good 6-7 hours on a piece and don't even flinch. I might come up for air, get a snack or something, may play Call of Duty or 2K for a little bit, then I'll go right back to it. And I'll spend another several hours. But I just learned that I wasn't really in tune or connected with my wife and in our family, or family will come over, or people will come over, and I'll just still like, y'all can kick it. I'm right here. And I wasn't in tuned. And so when I looked at that, that's when I was like, okay, I need to have a set schedule. And in Cole's documentary, or when he was talking about the fall off or the process of it, he talked about having a studio in the basement, and he has set hours. And I was like, yeah, that's the move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to have a cutoff time.
Yes. That was my long way of saying that. Yes.
Yeah. Because if you don't, you're gonna go. I think of the what was the movie with Adam Sandler? It's actually my favorite movie.
Click.
I was just about to say Click.
Just fast forwarding through life. Like,
Dang,
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
But it's something I think a lot of people can definitely benefit from, learning to just unplug from all that stuff.
Yeah, because eventually your identity becomes being busy.
So how do you, I'm my fault.
No, you good.
How do y'all balance? I'm gonna call it a hobby, but I don't mean no disrespect. But for me, art was a hobby, and then it became my profession. So like something that was a release, or a release at first, now is my 9 to 5. So like, how do you find other ways to decompress, or do you find different ways in that same arena to decompress? Like for me, it's coloring books. Like I may not create original work no more, but like if I just want to add color to something or bring life to something, I'll just go ham on a coloring book.
I think for me, it depends. Like a lot of times I will do things that are like creative in other ways. So I like was talking about like the model kits, things like that, like with the Gundams. And so I'll do that because that allows me to still be creative, but I'm decompressing. Something that I ain't never did model kits and stuff before. I ain't grow up doing that. So I'm not looking at it for perfection. I'm just looking at it to literally just do something that I enjoy doing. It's relaxing. I'll turn on like a TV show or something. Like that's how I finished King of Tulsa. I just had it on the TV while I was doing the model kits. And so I have like that to where I do something that's not necessarily in my medium.
Yeah.
But then if I am in my medium, I tend to go away from what I do. So like instead of rap, I listen to like Samara Joy, like who's like jazz and stuff like that. Something that's like kind of like the ginger and wasabi on the plate, to where it switches it up, cleanses the palate a little bit, and then I go back. Now I can listen to rap and stuff, but sometimes it's hard because I don't listen to music how the average listener does. I'm listening and critiquing the drums and all those different things when I'm hearing the songs.
I feel that.
There's this. I saw it on. I love it. I saw it on TikTok. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I stole it because, as Steve Jobs says, "Good artists copy, great artists steal."
Yep.
But it's the idea of, it's called Ikigai. I think it's like it's this idea where when you think about what your what you're good at, what you love, what you can be paid for, what the world needs. And the more of those things can be combined, they'll be your profession, your vocation, or things like that. And if you find something that does everything, it's this idea of ikigai. And so when I talk about that to our group coaching sessions, you know, I say, I'm like, these are the lucky ones. Not everybody finds something that they're good at. The world needs it. They can be paid for it, and they love it. And it, you know, it's their mission, their profession, all rolled into one. And so in those areas, kind of like what you were talking about, in those spaces where you're not in that ikigai kind of idea, you have to water it. And right, we have plants all around the house. And so some plants get more attention than others, right? So the peace lily there, it gets attention about every 6 days or so. This guy here, I couldn't tell you the last time I watered him, but that's thriving. He's chilling, right? Yeah. He's chilling. That one I water every 2 weeks. And so I don't know personally. I've never gotten a hobby taken to now I'm paid to do it. Yeah. But it's I would say it's probably the same idea. You're getting paid like setting boundaries, because you got to look at the return. And so if the return is I'm working 30 hours a day, I know there's only 24. If I'm working 30 hours a day for $200, or I'm working 8 hours a day for $200, you have to have that boundary set. And so when you go to the 30 hours in a day, what are the other things that are being not taken care of? And so you have to realize, at some point, this relationship or this other thing is equally important, and I need to give it attention. Or another way is that, and this is just another prompt I read about from the dude, who needs priority this week? And just looking at so on a Sunday, who gets priority this week? You know, I got 3 kids. I can't prioritize all of them. Yeah. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. Yep. So one of them got to be a priority. And so that might be Jude one week. It might be Lily. So forget them kids. It's Kristen this week. Right? Yeah. And having to prioritize those things. And I don't know who said it. I might have heard. I think actually Ruslan said it in a recent episode. He's like when you're dating, like Satan will do everything to get you and your girl together for sexual relations stuff. And then when you get married, Satan will do everything to keep you all apart.
Facts.
And it's the same idea.
I like that.
Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. It's a gym.
Yeah. It is.
Not my gym, but that's all right.
Hey, you still conveyed the information.
Yeah. So, I know I got it from you, so I'm just gonna say I got it from you.
That works. And I'll say I got it from someone.
That's your responsibility.
Yeah. Cite your sources.
Yeah. Because if I say it, I'm gonna be like, well, I got that from Matt.
Listen, it's 2024. It's not a source.
Yeah.
We don't cite sources no more. That's what I was taught for the past 4 years. We don't cite sources, just anonymous, just hearsay.
I'm gonna say that's my professors.
Yeah.
Yo.
All right, that's good.